Wow.
Okay, so we realized we were on mute that whole time. How you guys doing? Fantastic.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's good we didn't have... It was a test run.
Wow. Okay, so we realized we were on mute that whole time. How you guys doing?
Just so many technical errors happening right
All right, let's start that one over again.
This is getting directly uploaded to Spotify and Apple too, so...
Nice.
Sorry for our listeners.
This is great, man. This is great because, like I said, episode 10, episode 20, 30, they're all going to look very much different. We're going to reflect on all these clerical errors that we're having and be like, oh my God, how embarrassing. But it's not. It's pretty fun. It's a fun learning curve. And again, for all the people that didn't hear what I was saying there, I'm excited for this episode. Really glad. We got a lot of things to talk about, so I'm really looking forward to people joining in on the conversation, giving us your thoughts, your feedback. And one more thing seems like I got to do is silent my phone. Nice.
We both had a stressful day, so this is just a representation of how our days have gone.
Yeah, I know, man. Like I said, I don't think they caught any of that, but basically is doing a bazillion things right up until this point as usual. So, but again, I look forward to this, and let me go ahead and plug our platforms that we're on. We are on Spotify. We're on Apple. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitch. And so we're getting out there. Follow us, subscribe to us, give us some love and support. By the way, we really appreciate the amount of likes that we're getting on Facebook. I think we're getting close to 8,000 now. So it's just unbelievable. Yeah. It's unreal.
I stopped keeping track, honestly.
I stopped keeping track because it's just crazy. I'm like, wow, we're really gonna get 10,000 followers, I think. And it's only been about 2 weeks.
Yeah. This is the end of the third week.
Is it?
Yeah, because I think we started on a Saturday. So yeah.
Okay.
Episode 6. So yeah, we do 2 weeks.
3 weeks. It's pretty good. The amount of momentum that we're getting from you guys and the feedback, we're getting a lot of positive feedback. So I like that. I really appreciate that, and keep it coming, guys. I want to, make this we want to make this a great podcast for you guys to be entertained with and join conversations and have some good, fruitful conversations with everybody. So, without further ado, let's start. How's your day been, man?
It's been stressful. A lot of anxiety today, so
yeah. It sucks.
Yeah.
I don't really. It's funny because I think we all experience anxiety to a certain level, and then maybe obviously different days are, a little higher than others. But I definitely feel for you and other people that have an extreme amount of anxiety.
Yeah, I was having kind of a low grade panic attack today, so
that's too bad.
For about an hour and a half. Yeah.
Dang. Hour and a half.
Yeah, I went over to my friend's house and I was sitting there just leg shaking, just could barely even sit down. For some reason sitting down or trying to lay down in bed was giving me more anxiety. So I was getting up. I tried going outside and seeing if the sunlight and getting fresh air would help, and it didn't help.
Dang.
And it's the sound of the cars and everything was just fucking with my head, and I just...
That sucks, man.
Freaked out, so...
Well, hopefully this will help us kind of woosah it out a little bit.
Yeah. I'm starting feeling better now, but...
Nice. Well, that's good to hear, man.
Yeah.
I'm feeling better too, because like I said, I was pretty stressed, and I always look forward to these because it's kind of just a moment to chill, talk about some things, and kind of just let loose a little bit, and really with no pressure. So it's pretty exciting. But yeah, we got some things to talk about, and I have a lot of different things to talk about, but I think it's appropriate that we talk about the most substantial thing that's going on in the world right now. And no, it's not COVID-19 anymore, apparently. It's it's protests, and it's the things that are going on in every major city in the world right now, or in the US rather. Although it is happening. Is that happening in London? I think I've seen something over in London too.
They're doing it in other countries too, they're supporting the cause. So that's really cool.
That is really cool. That's a worldwide reverberating topic.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, crazy thing that's going on right now, and Yeah, I really would like to get some thoughts, some feedback on people's perspective, because I know a lot of people have different views with this. And I know it because I've seen it on social media. There's a lot of, back and forth with people. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of viewpoints that are getting misconstrued, as we like to say. Mm-hmm. And so, the problem with social media is it's easy to get confused too. With I think we were talking about this one time. You can't convey a tone of voice. You can't convey a lot of what your real message is probably not going to be heard. Matter of fact, when you speak to somebody face to face, most times your real message is not going to be conveyed the way you want. So social media is even much worse. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it'd be nice to kind of just get some thoughts. It's crazy out there. Obviously, we're all, I'll tell you my thoughts just in general.
Yeah,
I'm very saddened by the incident that's happened. Oh, and by the way, let's back it up. Me and Danny had a conversation the other day where I was actually enlightened quite a bit on, because we're having a conversation specifically around the term Black Lives Matter.
Oh, yeah.
And All Lives Matter.
I almost forgot about that conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, and I wanted to talk about it, and it's funny because I didn't even write that in my notes, but I did make a mental note that I wanted to kind of talk about that a little bit. So, and again, I'm not taking a side, okay? When I approach a subject and I approach a topic, I'm very open-minded to the perception of both views, both viewpoints. And so when we were talking, I really didn't understand why people were upset about the All Lives Matter statement. I've seen a lot of this on social media where, we've seen the Black Lives Matter being posted and then someone would chime in with All Lives Matter. And then that person would get upset that they said that. And I didn't understand that. And so it took a little bit of explaining from Danny and me looking into some things for me to actually be enlightened on that, for it to make sense to me. But the reason why I didn't understand it was because when I seen the term All Lives Matter, I was putting myself in the position of the person putting that statement out there. And I like to think that it was coming from a place of positivity. And so when I see that, I assumed that maybe that individual was trying to make equality more apparent by saying all lives matter. I don't know if you know what I mean by that, but basically maybe they were thinking by saying Black Lives Matter, you're segregating somebody, and maybe their viewpoint of like, hey, we shouldn't do that. All lives matter. And so what I was talking to Danny about was, I think, and again, there's some people that aren't coming from a place of positivity about this. I understand that, but I think a lot of people might have good intentions with saying that, but there's also some that are just kind of picking a fight and bantering a little bit. But I think even the ones that are making that statement, all lives matter, and not thinking about how that might compare, because you're basically comparing, and that's really the separation I couldn't make by trying to think, like, why are people upset about all lives matter? Mm-hmm. Why would anybody be upset about all lives matter? Well, when I was, talking to Danny about it, kind of put it in context in terms of, well, now it's in light of the Black Lives Matter statement. So it's kind of like comparing. You're comparing, and it's poor timing is kind of what we came down to.
Yeah. It's
not the statement all lives matter is bad and we can't get on board with that. It's just the poor timing of that, because now you're comparing yourself with, Black Lives Matter, and now you're having a contest. Obviously, Black Lives Matter, obviously all lives matter, but the topic right now in the world is Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
And so...
Yeah, I mean, the analogy that I made was, I like to compare it to when you're having a conversation with someone and you tell them about one of your problems, and instead of them like trying to help you with your problem, they start talking about a similar situation that happened to them, and they kind of monopolize the situation. That's basically like kind of what they're doing with All Lives Matter, but on a societal level.
Yeah.
So... Yeah,
I understood that part of it too. So it made good sense. You also used a few other analogies, but we don't have to repeat that. But
yeah, I can't remember all of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but no, that's a great analogy, and it makes sense. So, I almost feel bad though for the people that have good intentions that are saying all lives matter.
Genuine about it.
Yeah, you know
That's
what I mean?
what I was saying. They should just pick a different slogan.
They should just or just focus on the Black Lives Matter topic, because the good intentions, again, I think they're just trying to, I think that they're thinking by saying Black Lives Matter, you're keeping that segregation very apparent, and they're trying to make equality. I think they think by making that statement, they're really making equality more on the surface level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But again, it's just poor timing. I understand that. So yeah, it's a slippery slope of a topic, and I did want to touch base on that because we had that conversation off camera. We have a lot of conversations off camera, and it's just impossible to be like, oh, you know what? Let's stop talking about that. Let's save that for the podcast.
Honestly, that's the reason we started the podcast, is because we had so many in-depth conversations. And
Exactly.
Like, dude, people would probably like to listen to these conversations, honestly, because we put a lot of depth and insight into our conversations.
Exactly. And the nice thing about you and me is that we're both very much open-minded.
Mm.
And and that being said, I think it is important to explain ourselves a little bit more. We really haven't done that in any of our episodes yet.
Okay.
And so, in case you guys haven't figured it out yet, me and Danny are very different. We are very different creatures. But we can have a conversation without getting pissed off because we have open minds and we respect each other's opinion. But we are very different. We're different in where we're at in our life. We're different mentally. We're just different.
Yeah.
And I respect that. And so, but I think it's important for people to know in case they're caught off guard, like, whoa, these guys, like, did they like not get along, or do they like, how are they on this podcast if there's completely different viewpoints? Well, that's what makes great conversations.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of shit we agree on too, but we're just a lot different. And one of those things, and the reason why it got me thinking about that was because the last episode, I think I was talking about mediocre people and normal people.
Oh, right. And I kind of called you out a little bit.
You were worried that I was going to offend somebody and that it might come off as condescending. And so I wanted to make it very clear what kind of creature I am at this point in my life. I do not care what you think about me. I do care about the message that the message I'm sending is being received the way I'm sending it. That being said, I'm not disrespectful. I have a very open mind, and I love having conversations with opposite opinions. And I'm very respectful. So me saying I don't give a fuck it could come off as a rude thing, but really I don't give a fuck means I'm not going to change my thought process in order to cater to your feelings. You can tell me how you feel about it, and I'll have an open conversation about, like, hey, and at that point I might say, hey, I'm sorry you feel that way. But I just want to make sure that the I don't give a fuck is not getting misunderstood.
Yeah, you don't really mean it like in a rude
not at all
way, so.
And then the reason for that is because my personal experience, I gave a fuck for 33 years of my life and it did me no good. The second I stopped giving a fuck about what people thought about me, my life changed 180 degrees. So I'm definitely not going to stop what I'm doing and go backwards. You know what I mean? But I'm not hard-headed. I'm not a dickhead, unless you push me. For the most part, I'm pretty nice. I'm pretty open-minded. But again, I just want that to be known. You guys got to understand what kind of creature I am. I respect everybody's opinion. I respect viewpoints, but I'm not going to change my mentality to walk on eggshells for people. I like having the conversations first.
Yeah.
What about you though? Like, as far as like, if you had to describe your mentality in a nutshell, or or your differences from me, maybe like
our differences.
What would you say?
First of all, Ben's a lot more driven than I am. So I kind of go with the flow. I don't really care. Here's one key distinction. Ben's super tidy, and I'm super not tidy. I'm like the opposite of tidy. So we have this very completely different, but it also kind of describes our personality, because you're very driven and you have like checklists for everything. You have everything planned out by your day. And I wake up, I'm like, I'll do my homework later. I'll watch the TV. Maybe I'll draw a little bit. And it's just like the way we go about things. But if you're talking about like mentality and conversations, we're both open-minded. say one of the big differences between the two of us is what we were talking about last night is you're very direct in the way you talk.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not always direct. You know what I mean? I can be indirect, or and you're not really soft spoken usually. So.
Yeah, I guess that's another thing about me.
And I can be a lot of the time, you know.
I am, but it's got to be a sensitive. Like I'm very aware to sensitive issues, and I'll know that if I say I'm not into hurting people's feelings deliberately.
Yeah.
So I will avoid those situations if it's a very sensitive, like if there's a death involved, and it's just not appropriate for me to. Obviously, I'm very sensitive to that because I've experienced that before. I'm not out to hurt people's feelings. Absolutely not.
It's never really the words you're saying anyway. It's just your tone of voice can be misinterpreted because you don't have a wide range of tones. So.
Right, and then I also said that's why I can't sing very well.
Yeah. You can probably sing as good as me, so I mean, I guess I can't sing very well
just
either.
Baritone.
I can barely change my voice. Like watching these podcasts and not enjoying the way my voice sounds. And I'm like, I need to work on that. Don't think I've gotten any better. So, it's been 3 weeks now. Still sound exactly the fucking same.
Oh, I'm sure it's better. You go look at our first episode. Probably getting better and better with everything.
This one's probably going to be similar to the first episode just because I'm having a lot of anxiety today. The first one I was having anxiety about the podcast. I'm not having anxiety about the podcast today, but just I was anxious in both episodes, the one today and the first one. So, they might be a little bit similar.
Yeah. As far as viewpoints, is there anything that sticks out to you, like as far as
things we disagree on?
Yeah, or agree on, yeah. Or anything else maybe we should highlight and let people know like how you are and how I am from your observation.
You like to we've argued, I don't want to talk about the specific subjects, but we've argued about some science-based subjects times, and I've been like, well, the science says this, and then you're like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we've had those, but I mean, the cool thing about me and Ben, as you were saying, is that even if we have an argument where we're like completely disagreeing with one another, after the argument, it's not really an argument, it's more like a heated conversation maybe, or like we're just a debate, really.
It's more of a respectful debate.
Yeah, really. Afterwards, we just let it go, you know? We just move on.
Yeah.
There's no like bad blood after it. We're like, all right, well, we just don't agree on that topic, and that's fine.
Yeah.
It's totally fine to not agree with people and everything. So
the other thing is like I'm pretty aware, I feel like if we have a conversation like that where because I'm very science and fact based too, and like if it's a conversation I remember, I'll usually say that. I'm like, I don't know much about it. It's just my suspicion. Mm-hmm. I'll make it I never act like I know about something that I don't.
Yeah.
That's one thing I don't do or pretend to do. And if I don't, I'll need to go research it so that I can actually participate in the conversation properly.
I will say another thing about the difference between me and you is I do actually get more emotional than you when we're talking about topics sometimes. So, but I try to leave it in the argument, you know what I mean? It's like, all right, that's over with. I mean, don't agree with you at all, you know, but that's fine, whatever.
Yeah, I wonder why, because I don't.
I'm
just
that
part because I don't give a fuck.
I'm just an emotional person, though. You know what I mean? Like,
I know, but I was trying to get to have you ever thought about the nuts and bolts of that? Is it because you give a fuck what people think, or why you think that
anxiety?
Is? Yeah.
No, my anxiety didn't really start until I was 19, and it was after my friend was murdered, and he was very similar to me, and it just kind of made me realize my mortality. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna die one day. And it's like when I was 19, I felt invincible, and that really brought everything into perspective, and it made me afraid of dying. So my anxiety isn't really about what people think about me. I mean, I do care what people think about me, but not extremely. You know what I mean?
And if you do, it's fine. I was just trying to understand you more and wonder if you ever analyzed yourself that way, as far as
if I care,
if you care what people think.
Yeah, and I think everyone does to an extent. It just matters on what extent you care.
Yeah.
What
exactly?
What aspects of you that you should care what people think about.
Yeah, there's layers to that. Mm-hmm. That's why I specified when I said that too. Like when I say I don't give a fuck, it's about my mindset. I don't want to change my viewpoint to cater to someone else's feelings.
Yeah, and I hate it when I do that because I'm like, man, you need a fucking backbone, dude.
Yeah, you know, you're not authentic when you do. And I've never always been like this. This is literally the last 2 solid years, and I've been working on it for the last 3 years. Like, it's only actually happened in the last 2 years, probably.
Yeah. Usually, if I end up agreeing with someone that I actually disagree with, it's usually because I just don't want to put in the effort into the conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they're just like, oh, blah, 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 talking about like a specific subject and I don't agree with it, and I'm like, gonna leave in like 2 minutes, and I'm like, yeah, You know what I mean? I'm not like completely agreeing with them, but I'm just like, I don't have time.
I don't have time
start
for this. Yeah, this is an
I
investment.
don't got enough energy to fucking argue with you on this topic. There's someone who.
Well, plus there's people that you just know.
Oh yeah, stubborn people.
There's no change. Exactly. You can't have a very intelligent conversation with somebody, and there's no changing them. And if they can't get anything that you're saying or open-minded to it, there's no point of investing any time into that. So I understand those. But yeah, I think that's really good to kind of do what we did there, explain ourselves a little bit so you guys understand us a little more. And you'll know a little bit more about us as we do more episodes. But I did realize that we hadn't really done... This is a learning thing for viewers to learn about us a little more as well.
Yeah, and maybe we definitely don't want to do the whole episode, but definitely just like in short little sections here and there.
Exactly. So that was fitting.
Yeah, you guys will slowly learn about us over time. So
yeah, so that was fitting. Back to the protests. This shit is crazy. Again, I'm very saddened by all the racism that's happened. That shit, I mean, I'm like pretty emotional about it actually. There's like, and I'm not emotional by the sad, obviously I'm emotional by the sad parts, but for some reason the most emotional part is when I see cops on a Facebook post, cops like having conversations with black people saying, hey, we feel your pain. We're going to march with you. We're going to lay down our weapons. That type of shit is what gets me emotional. Yeah. Like, that shit makes me want to cry.
Let's say,
it's noble.
When you said you get emotional, like, I haven't really been emotional about it, but those specific parts of it, that do make it's like...
I don't know why. It's those type of things that get me... And that's like happy that's like happy, right?
It's like a happy sad.
Yeah.
That's my
like,
favorite feeling in the
shit,
world,
dude.
honestly.
That's fucking strong. That type of shit really gets me, like, deep when I see that type of stuff. So... I really appreciate a lot of, positivity from the police officers. And I'm really sad about the protesters that are out there causing vandalism. They're out there destroying businesses. I don't understand that part. Yeah. I just don't understand that part.
Well, dude, when we were watching it and, we were watching that video where the people were like destroying other civilians' cars
on the freeway. People on the freeway.
Like, why?
I don't understand that.
That's
senseless. And I think what's happening here is, first of all, that is one of the topics. Is vandalizing? Is all this vandalizing and all this hate that's going on, all these destroying businesses, is this related to just personal stress? This has got to be related to personal stress, personal problems. This cannot just be this one topic. There's no way in hell. Stress from COVID-19, people being unemployed for so long, and then this is a tipping point. Stress from people having very, very real personal problems in their life. Someone passed away, breaking up with a girlfriend, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I feel like this could be a moment for the stressed out people to take their anger out and get a green light for that.
Yeah.
Do you think that could be a case for some people?
Yeah, I think that could be true in some situations. I think there's two kind of things to this. I think there's a lot of peaceful protesters. I think, and like I don't know if we talked about this on the last podcast or if we just talked about it in between the podcast. Is that like, the anarchists are really capitalizing on the situation.
Yeah.
Because I read someone's post, they were talking about there's peacefully protesting. There's a group of people peacefully protesting. Some rioters came in behind them and like threw some shit at the cops and then dipped out. And then the cops unloaded on the peaceful crowd.
I think this is Seattle.
Yeah. Just instigating.
It happened again yesterday.
Yeah.
It started out with Jenny Durkin, the mayor, giving a speech. First of all, I listened to that on the radio. She was being very upfront with people. The crowd was having a hard time not yelling over her and not getting irate. I didn't understand that either. This is what you guys, as the protesters, have been requesting and demanding, with some answers, some movement. You got it. You got the mayor in front of you, and then now you didn't want to let her speak. I didn't understand that part. This is what you wanted. They even explained that. Like, this is what you guys have been working for. Let's not ruin this. You have the floor. You have this moment now. So let's come together. Let's make them changes. The reform they're talking about with the police force, like all these things, it's happening. But the people that are irate and don't know how to socialize are ruining it for everybody. Oh, and by the way, there's a lot of unintelligent people out there, and I think a lot of them are in these protests.
Yeah.
So they just have no idea how to act properly.
Yeah. So there's kind of two. There's regularly unintelligent people, but then there's a lot of those people are emotionally unintelligent.
Yes.
That's the problem is, and it was kind of back to what I was saying to you before about people having this weird herd mentality. When people get in groups, they start acting as a unit instead of as individuals a lot of the time.
It's like gang member mentality.
Yeah, it's just like people lose their individuality a lot of the time in these groups. And so what happens is all these people are coming together, they're all upset, and they're all riling each other up, and then it just becomes this huge crowd of pissed off people, and they're all feeding that energy.
And then the whole purpose gets lost in the mix of that. It's like people forgot. It's like when you're having an argument with somebody and then you forgot what you were arguing about.
Only happened to me with my girlfriends, dude, in my relationships.
Like, what were we arguing about again?
That's never happened to me with anyone else. It's because you get so emotional with your spouse.
That's exactly what's happening here.
Yeah.
And then the purpose is gone. The whole reason that you guys started this is lost. And then therefore you're not making that change that everybody's seeking as a protester. Like, I'm all for, I mean, they encouraged it. I heard them flat out say they encourage peaceful protesting. They want you to get out there, scream, yell, but they also don't want any vandalism. They don't want you to break the law and antagonize and just cause harm to people in general. I mean, I heard on the radio rather, there's a 74-year-old cop that got killed in this protest trying to defend a pawn shop. Why? Why are we killing cops?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't lump one bad cop with the whole force. You just can't do that. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's really sad to hear that.
Yeah.
That's really, really fucking sad, man.
That is really sad. I mean, there's definitely a problem in general with police, and the same thing. They have this
with everything you can say. There's a problem, though. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, but I mean, we should work to make it better. But you can't just assume every individual in that group is an asshole.
Yeah.
I mean, let them show that they're an asshole first before you just start.
You got to give people a screening chance. Exactly. You got to be able to vet them yourself, because that's just senseless death right there. When I hear a 74-year-old man is murdered in a protest from defending a business, that's just fucking tragic. That's just as tragic as George Floyd dying. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't see the difference. It's a human. I mean, obviously one person, I don't know if he was black or white, I didn't see. But when we're talking about that specific case, it's irrelevant. There's two human beings that died for no reason in both cases. And that's sad. And so that type of shit really, really upsets me. I don't think, and I would say, I wouldn't even say, I'll go ahead and say this, but I don't even know if the police officer that actually killed George Floyd deserves death. He deserves punishment for the rest of his life. I'm not that brutal to say. First of all, I'm not one to say who chooses to live and die. I'm just not in that position. There's a lot of people out there who have a lot of that hate. And, I get pissed off at things too, but ultimately I don't think I ever want to kill anybody.
Yeah, no.
I don't think, again, people might say, well, what if, and you'll come up with a crazy scenario. What if he did this, to your daughter, to your mom, to whatever, I haven't been put in that position yet. And yes, if something tragic like that happened at my most angerful mindset, I probably would want to kill a guy that did something tragic like that to someone I really love or care about.
Yeah.
But It wouldn't last.
That's like, it's, you know, that type of question. It's like, yeah, it's the same type of question as like they ask vegans, you know what I mean? Like, if you're stranded on an island with a pig, would you eat the pig? It's like, yeah, I would, but that's never going to fucking happen, or it's very unlikely, you know? So.
And that's a conversation we'll have to have again, because yes, we're not in a survival mode anymore, so we don't need to eat animals, by the way. In case you guys didn't know that, this is 2020 and we have enough food to feed vegetables to the world. So we'll have this conversation again. I promise you, this is a conversation I want to have to enlighten people a little bit more. So
yeah, but yeah,
it's a great example.
I would eat the pig. I would feel bad about it.
I would too, and I'd feel bad also. Yes, but it's a survival point at that stage. So, but yeah. The protestings are crazy, guys, and it's fucking sad. I understand the message. The peaceful protesting is great. Send your message, march down the streets, let your voice be heard. But God, I went downtown Olympia and I seen all kinds of businesses just boarded up.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was because their windows got broken or if they were preventing their windows from being broken.
Dude, so it was crazy. I was just driving around town up by the hospital and seeing like armored vehicles being transported down the streets and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in Olympia.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like you know, they look like a tank but smaller. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's like those type of vehicles, the same style of metal and stuff. And I was like,
I've seen them in Seattle before.
Like, holy shit.
That's pretty intense. Yeah, no shit's real when you see those.
At first, I thought it was a tank. I was like, "There's no way they're bringing a tank."
They brought the tanks.
Like, why would you bring a fucking tank?
They're not here to annihilate people.
Like, Jesus. It looked like a tank at first from a distance, but then I realized it was smaller. I was like, oh, okay.
It's pretty crazy, man. I don't know, but there's a lot of senseless shit going on. There's a lot of sense going on too. But God, it just really disturbs me to see freeways being stopped and people being, abused and vandalized right there just for driving. And then businesses that, people who work their entire life to build their business and they're just getting fucking vandalized and robbed by people. That's fucking tragic. That's completely fucking tragic.
I just want to say, if you're inciting violence and where everyone's being peaceful and destroying people's shit, like, you're an asshole. That's all there is to it.
Absolutely.
That's all there is to it.
Like, protesting's one thing. Causing crime and vandalizing is a complete different topic we're talking about.
Yeah. You can be angry, but it doesn't mean you need to do
I'm
crazy
pissed.
shit.
I'm pissed about, the cops killing people too.
Yeah.
I've had my fair share of, I've been incarcerated innocently. I've been put in juvenile for a crime I never did once. And
was that about the bike?
Yeah.
I remember. I forgot about that.
Oh yeah, I've had it, and that's just one of the stories. I've had my hair. I've been pulled out of a cop car by my hair and fucking thrown on the ground before. I've had my fair share. I've never been murdered, obviously, but you get the point. Like, I get it. I'm pissed off with a lot of cops in the position of power that they abuse. So I'm very angered by that shit. So, but I'm also very angered by the way people are behaving and just unintelligent. Very, very, people that just can't socialize properly. The way they're handling this shit is just unrealistic, and it's uncalled for. It's just messed up. But yeah, those are some of the things. Oh, by the way, we were talking about, this is funny because I actually have had this conversation a lot of times. Let's talk about guns.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not a huge gun fan. I never really was. I especially wasn't when I got shot at in Tacoma on Hilltop. And yeah, I have no shame. I was selling weed just back when it was getting, legal. I was running a operation myself, growing my own weed, selling it. And so I had motivation as a business owner to make money. I got robbed by some kids. They shot at me. They hit my door. I barely lived because it went into the door and it ricocheted and stayed in my door. 2 shots.
This is fucking crazy.
Fucking insane. From then on, I absolutely hated guns. My life flashed before my eyes. I blacked out as I was pulling in reverse and was leaving the scene. I thought I was shot. I had to pull over and check my body, and it was insane. Needless to say, I hate fucking guns. So, that being said, I understand people need to protect themselves too. Like, it's getting to a point to where I'm considering getting a gun, and I fucking hate guns. I mean, I have no problem telling people that I don't own a gun. I mean, whatever. But I'm thinking about it just because other people own guns. Yeah. And I always said to people who own guns, I've had these conversations many a time, why the need for guns that kill? We just need weapons to stop somebody in their place. They have rubber bullets, you know, rock salt. They can create a gun like, have you seen the Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
I don't think so, actually. I know about it, but I don't know if I've seen
There's a scene in Running Man where they had a gun. Arnold Schwarzenegger was running away, and there was a web with 4 weights on each corner. They shot it at him, wrapped him up.
Does that actually exist? That sounds like some shit out of Batman.
They could make it. It was cool as hell, dude.
It sounds like some shit out of Batman, for real.
So yeah, we could totally design guns to just stop people in their tracks. That's all we need to do, right? When did we convert weapons of war to civilians and have the need to end someone's life? We just need to stop them from doing what they're doing, right? Please, somebody help me with this. Why would you need to take somebody's life? If, let's just say they were robbing you, they came in your house, right? Why would you need to kill them instead of just rock salting them and then they fall over and start screaming and you can detain them at that point?
Yeah. I wish we had never created guns. I mean, it's obvious that we would because it's just natural evolution, you know what I mean?
It was part of war, I think, right?
Yeah, but it's just like, why couldn't we just stayed with swords? You know what I mean? You want to challenge me to a duel? All right, fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But don't just like fucking just shoot some. Like that's the top of
the list. Swords take lives too, though. You know what I mean?
I know, but like, you could be like, I have trained my whole life to be a duelist. You know what I mean? So whatever. But you know,
my question is why the need to take life is what I'm really saying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And also, just like we were talking about the other day, is guns are too fucking easy.
It's too easy. You could just flick your fucking finger and someone's dead. And for humans and creatures like us that are very emotional, and when we're pissed, we make bad decisions, that's a bad recipe for some bad shit to happen. Mm-hmm. And so guns in the hands of human beings is a bad idea. I understand people need to protect themselves, but it's like we just need to protect each other from... protect ourselves from someone killing us, so we need to stop them. We don't really need to take their life, right? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Help me out with this, guys.
I agree.
I've
always felt the exact same way. I've always hated guns. So
yeah,
I've had friends that have guns and they just put a gun in my hand. I'm like, why? You know, like drinking with my friend. He's like, dude, check out my new gun. I'm like, please get this away from me.
Is the safety on?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, my friend was like, "This was a bad idea."
It's always a bad idea, man. But yeah, that was my thoughts on guns, man. Just let's. I don't know. Obviously, this is never gonna happen. We're never gonna get rid of guns now at this point. But in a perfect world, I think rock salt or you know, some kind of rubber bullets, just stopping someone in their tracks is really all we need. So, yeah.
Can you read that?
Hey, Mom. Yeah, let's check this out. So, yeah, so Mom says we don't need weapons of mass destruction in our home. Absolutely. I don't know, you got... Yeah, that's not, you know, the story about me getting shot on Hilltop is not one I would want to tell you, Mom. But now that you know about it, yeah, sorry to scare you, but yes, I almost died, and I literally, Danny knows about it, all my close friends. I took a picture of, I drove my Ford for 2 years with a bullet stuck in my door that whole time, and I had to see it every day of my life. So,
got shot at.
I got shot at. I did not get hit. It hit my door about 2 inches lower on the door. I was hanging out the window, and I literally felt the wind from it, and I watched this guy point it right at me and fire 2 shots at me. So that's the specifics of it, Roland. So, and yeah, again, Mom, don't think about it too hard. It's that time of my life is over with.
Well, I learned like 4 years ago now.
That was like 4 years ago, yeah, when I was selling weed. So very different lifestyles living. and I learned a lot. I learned a huge lesson.
Yeah, I agree with her, right? Because
And I agree with you too, Mom.
was in your time, because didn't you say there's like a sideways piece of metal that it bounced off of in there or something? There's like a piece of metal that the bullets bounced off of.
Yeah, so I'm not real superstitious, but
Just a little suspicious.
just a little stitious, yeah. I'm just minor stitious. So maybe it wasn't my time, but yeah, when I looked into the door, I shined my light into the holes, and you can see where the bullet, there was literally a 1/2-inch piece of metal there that was protecting the glass that rolls the glass up and down. The bullets hit, both of them, hit that glass, or hit the metal in front of the glass and ricocheted inside the door and stayed in the door.
Spooky, man.
Very, very scary. So yeah, that's a reason why I don't like guns. And I understand there's a lot of people that don't agree with me with the gun thing. So, but that's why I want to have this conversation. I'd love to have people chime in and tell me why we would need a weapon to end someone's life. Because that's an interesting topic for me. And yes, very lucky, Roland. My life literally flashed before my eyes. I'm not kidding. I blacked out for a little bit because all I did was slam it in reverse and back up and head out. And then I started hearing cop sirens going on, and I got the hell out of there. It was just like a scene out of a movie. So
crazy.
It was
they probably
crazy.
had cameras there too. They're probably like, what the fuck?
Probably it was right in front of a gas station, and I'll even call it out. Spirit in Tacoma. It was the Spirit gas station. I'll never forget it because I drove by it many times since then, and it reminds me of what happened.
and shit.
Yeah. It's so crazy. But yeah, that was my gun story, and just be careful if you're out. Obviously, people don't have to sell weed anymore on the streets. So,
Yeah.
and if you are, please don't.
Yeah, don't do that. It's a bad idea.
But yeah, so that's my thing. Oh, and by the way, talk about guns. We were comparing us to England and the way they operate.
Right.
So over there in England, the cops don't have guns. I don't know. I didn't get a chance to research the rates, the stats. I mean, on the homicide rates for England compared to U.S. But last time I checked, which was a couple years ago, they're substantially lower because there's no guns. And I understand there's going to be people out there that say, yeah, but there's more stabbings. Well, okay, whatever. There's still not as many homicides in general, and not many gun-related homicides as there is in the United States. Plus, they also have CCTV, which basically is just they got a camera on almost every damn corner of the street you can think of. So it's really hard for people to want to commit a crime, I think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there's just no way to get away with it. And that's probably half the reason why people don't commit those crimes. But it is interesting to see that a task force that has no guns has a lower homicide rate in that country. And then over here, you see us with a lot of guns, and the homicide rate is just skyrocketed.
I'm pretty sure we're the most dangerous country to live in for a first world country. You know, not a developing nation. I'm pretty sure that it's like the most dangerous one to live in.
Really?
Yeah, just because of how much violence there is here.
So Roland says, so all right, you don't mind guns for self-defense, but I do agree with making sure someone is mentally fit to carry one. Okay.
Sometimes you don't know, though. You know, it's really hard because people can be like sociopaths and they can trick those tests.
So Roland, since you seem like you're a gun owner. If you're not, it seems like you like guns. So I got a question for you. Why would you want to end someone's life in any situation? And I would like an honest opinion about that. When would you ever want to end someone's life? Because you could just stop them, right? From whatever they're trying to do. That's my question to people. Where does that line get drawn? Where you're like, this person's life needs to be taken. And that's where I have the issue with that. And yes, I will definitely look into the history of guns in Australia. It's interesting.
Yeah, I know I've heard about it, and I just don't remember now. So we'll probably just both look into that so we can maybe talk about it a little bit more in depth.
Yeah. So we know what we're talking about a little bit more.
Yeah, 'cause
So yeah, Mom, very sad. The violence and the looting. Yes, and yeah, I support the peaceful protests as well. It was murder. Yeah, exactly. George Floyd. All 4 cops have been charged for main cause. Yeah. So whether or not he's going to get convicted of second-degree murder is the question. But yeah, at least he's getting charged with it. I hope he gets justice, or I hope George Floyd and his family get justice, and everybody who's demanding justice gets that as well. So yeah, I'm on the same page.
Yeah, Roland said, I don't own one, but if someone broke into my house and was going after my family, and if I owned one, it's to stop them, but I would buy a 22 for defense because that's smaller rounds. I mean, why couldn't we just buy like riot rounds though, you know?
Yeah, that was so I don't know if you answered my question or not, but in that scenario, would you want to end their life, or would it be just as sufficient to have a weapon that's going to basically stop them in their tracks? Would that be just as good?
I wonder what kind of options you have for non-lethal rounds. I know there's a few.
Rock salt and rubber bullets would do it, dude. I'm pretty sure if you hit someone in the face with that, they're going to stop what they're doing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I always thought like a bow would be cool if we were talking about that. Shoot someone in the leg with a bow. I mean, there's a lot of fucking...
Okay, so you did answer my question. All right, I appreciate that.
Hopefully they would live long enough to get to the hospital. Hypothetically, yeah.
All right. So I don't think you're, from what you explained, I don't think you're into ending people's lives.
And not like a gun-toting psychopath, so.
Yeah. So that's good. Yeah, I mean, that's just getting into, I don't know, it's just like murder mentality. But if you want to end someone's life, right? Mm-hmm. In self-defense, it's murder. Murder's murder, right?
Well,
technically, or is that just a term we're talking about?
It's not considered murder if it's self-defense.
Okay.
Legally.
Taking life is taking life. There we go.
Yeah.
And I just don't like taking life. And the thought of someone taking life, whether if you think they deserve it or not.
What about like someone like Hitler? This is just crazy out of this world.
Again, Hitler should have. Matter of fact, yes, and we had this conversation that if Hitler died, that's a coward's way out. Someone should have to pay. I much rather would see someone that committed a crime of that caliber be punished for eternity rather than take the coward's way out and die.
Okay, I'll give you the opposite end of that, the other side of that.
Yeah.
So, just how you said someone that shoots someone in self-defense might want to kill someone, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of have it justified. Well, wouldn't that be kind of like a little bit of a psychopath thing that you just said? You want them to suffer.
A little bit.
Yeah, it's a little sadistic.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But that's the ultimate punishment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Whereas like...
Yeah, because I wouldn't want that for myself. I talked to you about that. Like, I don't like zoos for that reason, because they go through zoochosis. So, it could be a little sadistic, you know what I mean? But I don't know. You're thinking that killing somebody's more merciful?
Not necessarily more merciful, but you don't have to worry about that person ever committing a crime ever again if you kill them. You know what I mean?
That's true, but you could lock them up in isolation and also never have to worry about them, right?
I think that's inhumane, regardless. If you put someone in isolation, I think that's going too far. You know what I mean? That's like psychological torture.
Okay, so using the term inhumane, how does killing someone and locking them up compare on that? If you had to scale it.
Well, it depends. If you're putting them in isolation, I think you should kill them. I think you should kill them instead of putting for a long period of time. It's just that will break.
That's more cruel.
That will break someone, dude. And regardless, you know what I mean, of what they've done, I don't think that's like, you know what I mean. It's like torturing someone. I don't think it's humane to torture someone either.
So what if there's no afterlife? Then you know that's an easy way out, right? If there is no afterlife, you know for sure that's an easy way out.
Yeah.
And you're okay with that? An easy way out?
Oh.
That's my question.
I'm not necessarily... if they're a criminal, I'm not necessarily concerned
Let's use the Hitler scenario again.
I'm not necessarily concerned with how he feels. I don't care if he's Someone like Hitler, I'd rather them just not be alive. We don't have to deal with that anymore. Like that era's over. He's gone. You know what I mean?
So
Hitler's done with.
Okay, so for selfish reasons, it's better.
I think
you don't have to deal with it anymore. Or have to worry about
in
it.
General, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And like as Roland's saying, killing them would be cheaper for taxpayers. So someone like Hitler, like fuck him, dude. Like let's not spend money to keep him in prison.
Yeah.
This is an extreme example because not everyone's fucking Hitler.
I know, I know. We just had to pick some kind of example though and roll with it.
Push it to an extreme.
Yeah. But I mean, it's relatively the same. Anybody who's committed murder. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I feel like people should have to pay the price by spending time thinking about it. That's the whole point of punishment is facing your crime.
I think the best thing for certain people is we should try to rehabilitate people more. See if we can help fix what's wrong with them, you know what I mean?
I'm down with that. You have to isolate them though.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I mean, they still have to be in prison while you're trying to do that.
Yeah. Yeah,
a lot
that's
of times they
crazy.
just throw people in prison and they're like, well, serve your time, and then they throw them back out. They're either the same or maybe even worse a lot of the time, you know what I mean? Because they're like joined a gang in prison, like learned this prison life.
Yeah.
And I think we spend more time just trying to fix people. I think
yeah,
we can make places better, but it's kind of a different...
I mean...
It's funny, it was like, one was talking about, there was a guy in Sheldon that was breaking into multiple homes and jerking off on the feet of women.
Oh god, why am I laughing about that? It's so fucked up, dude.
I think I know who that is. That's my ex's ex.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he's in prison. He still calls her and stuff from prison.
Jesus. That's crazy, dude. Only in Shelton, man. Only in Shelton, dude. Get out now. You could be next. And yeah, Mom, I did see a little girl that got maced. It's sad to see kids in that.
Up,
and then I've seen people talk about it as well. They're like, well, kids need to be in those protests because they need to see what's going on, so on and so forth.
You can see it on TV, man. You don't need to fucking...
That's true. And I also said that last, furthermore, I also said, in a day and age where you can get your message across through digital media, I don't even think protests are necessary, to be honest. I understand it and I respect it. I just don't know if that impact is much more than... Because they're getting your emails. They read it the other day. They said they're getting 14,000 complaints about the police force.
I think it shows a little bit more commitment, a little bit more seriousness when you're actually putting the effort to fucking get out there, get together as a group. It shows like, oh, okay, they're fucking serious. You know what I mean? Otherwise,
yeah. Because
it's really easy for everyone to be online and be like, fuck you, and just type real quick, hit enter. That takes no effort, and it's really easy to ignore that. It's not easy to ignore a protest. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. The thing is, you get more numbers that way, though.
You get more numbers, but yeah, they can just ignore it, though. Yeah,
that's true. That's why I thought about it, though. It's like it's more impactful because of the numbers surpass the actual people out there taking action.
Yeah. Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe.
That's just my speculation. I'm just what if. I think I don't know the answers. I'm just talking here, so I don't know what the correct thing is. I do respect the protesting though, and I understand it. So I'm not disrespecting the protesters out there. Don't get that misunderstood. But it's sad to see kids being maced. And again, I don't know if that's the best place for them.
I don't think so.
Roland says, if I had a gun and that happened, I would have shot him, hypothetically.
Just for jerking off? Why do you need I mean, it's gross, but like, I don't think that's worthy of killing someone.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's what's funny. So what interests me is people's mentality on gauging what's worth taking a life or shooting them. That's what's fascinating. That's why I'm having this conversation. I'm like, where do you... I don't know. Me personally, I don't think I'm... who am I to judge and decide who dies and who lives? Like,
I'll tell you what, though. I probably want to beat that dude's ass if I woke up to him jerking off.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, that's probably
more
what I want. I wouldn't want to kill someone.
I would have hurt him just because in the moment, I would have been pissed off.
Too much rage.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. So he got locked up for a long time, even had duct tape in his trunk when the cops caught him.
Duct tape is scary.
That's like Ted Bundy shit, dude.
Yeah.
Catch him with all the evidence. I mean, and yeah, killing them, to answer your response, killing them would be cheaper for taxes. I mean, yes, and if we wanted to go full force in that logic, I mean, let's just kill them all then, right? And then we'd have to pay less tax. So, I mean, if tax paying was the deciding factor, we would have a lot of dead people.
Yeah. What do you think about, like, was it Mussolini or was it Stalin that was like, I think it was Mussolini, the dictator of Italy?
Yeah.
After World War II, they like hung him out in the streets and murdered him.
Damn. I vaguely
What
remember
do you
the
think
name.
about it like that?
That's brutal, dude.
It is brutal, but it's like sending a message like, hey, we aren't gonna fucking stand for dictators, you know what I mean? And like, he committed a bunch of war crimes, though, you know what I mean?
I think that message could have been given by locking him up as well.
Yeah.
If he just disappeared and they're like, oh, where happened to him? Well, he's in prison the rest of his life. Oh, I think the same message would be received. Like, they weren't fucking around.
Live stream him suffering in prison. So all the sadistic people could be like, yeah. Suffer.
Right? The guy that got caught for beating off on feet's probably beating off to those videos of watching him in prison. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But the logic is interesting viewpoints from everybody. Yeah, I appreciate that too, Roland and Mom, all you guys' viewpoints on that. I respect them all. But yeah, no guns in England. That's what I respect from my personal experience, man.
Yeah, I wonder what their gun laws are in Canada.
I also I wrote down, what do other countries think of us in the news? Well, we kind of got an idea of what London's doing, so they're on board with it. Seems like they're.
Well, I mean,
I wonder what
people
look like to them, what they think about us.
People,
as far as like
people think that in general, it's kind of hard because obviously you have individuals that think different things.
Yeah.
So I usually hear people either like kind of love or hate America. It's never really in the middle that much. You know what I mean? Americans are very perceived as being ignorant and violent.
Yeah.
And rude. So
yeah, I can see it. Arrogant, probably.
Yeah.
I know we have a lot of followers not in the US. If any one of you can chime in and help us with this, like what viewpoints do you guys have of United States, and what are some things that are good about us and bad about us? What are the rumors out there about us Americans?
Dude, I get annoyed with like stereotypical Americans, honestly.
Yeah.
Because we're not stereotypical Americans, and so it's just like, oh man, I was driving in like the Fred Meyer parking lot, and this fucking giant truck that's taking up like 2 lanes going down the road, you know what I mean? And I'm just like sitting here, I have to wait for this fucking jackass. I have this gigantic truck, it's on like these huge tires, you know what I mean? This huge truck that, you know, people like park them in like 4 parking spots and shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna look in the window, and hopefully it's like a woman, so it just like throws me off guard. I look in there, nope, it's a white dude with a shaved head and a goatee. I'm like, you're such a fucking American. I hate it, dude. I hate it so much, dude. You're just like, you're everything that's wrong with America, dude.
Dude, don't get me started with the drivers out there, man. I spent a lot of time on the road. And yeah, they're very fucking arrogant and very rude and entitled. It's crazy. It's worse than fucking Walmart shoppers, I can tell you that.
Yeah. I think the biggest problem with America in general is that we're very rude, but we're also very self-centered and also selfish.
Yeah. Very self-absorbed, exactly. We love ourselves some me. we definitely do.
And it's like taught through the culture, and so it's really toxic, man. It's honestly a really toxic place to live. You know what I mean? I like the good people, but geez, man, a majority of people
you got to do a lot of sifting to get to them. Yeah,
it drives me crazy, man.
That, and then you just got the unintelligent people. I mean, there's a lot of unintelligent people out there having babies, and then they're unintelligent. And
the worst part about that is I don't know why, from an evolutionary standpoint, that is, because you would think that, okay, so unintelligent people have more kids, right?
I know. Isn't that wild? Well, that makes sense. They're not thinking very clearly.
Yeah, but you'd think that, like, on an evolutionary standpoint, if that's the way the races or the species are always trying to get better, right?
Yeah.
You'd think as a species we would want to have the most people having babies be intelligent people.
Yeah.
But that's not the case.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I feel like the way the government's set up, there's incentive to have babies.
Yeah, like taxes, for instance.
Tax.
Dude, my ex, okay, I worked more than her. I got $500 on my tax return. She has 1 kid and got $5,000 $4,000 dude.
And a lot of people, so most people live paycheck to paycheck. About 76% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. So that percentage relies on that tax return. I was in that 76%, and I remember every time tax season came up, I'm like, ooh, it's tax season. I get a measly $1,600, $2,000, whatever. Not a lot, but to someone who was in poverty a lot, that was a lot to me, and it was more than, a lot at once. So I was like, ooh, yeah. And so that's incentive for a lot of people.
Dude, you think about it. So it's like 4,000 for one fucking kid.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you have a kid for 18 years, it's $4,000 times 18 or 17.
Isn't that crazy?
17 or 18, whatever.
There's a lot of arguments over
That's
parents, dude, over who claiming and oh, dude.
Yeah. That's like it's like 70 fucking grand, dude, for one kid
Yeah.
over their life
That's insane.
that you get just on tax returns. It's fucking.
You don't have to pay for hospital bills. It's crazy, dude. A hospital bill, I think it was like $40,000 when Malia was born.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I seen that bill.
They don't charge you for it though.
No, because her mom was in the system at that time, so
Okay.
yeah.
You definitely. Well, insurance covers it.
Exactly. Insurance covers that. So, but that's incentive. Like, hey, we can have babies and we don't have to pay for it. So there's a lot of layers of incentive there that don't
The problem
prevent
is
people.
The problem is that they would have babies anyway,
You're probably right.
and then it would be less safe for them. You know what I mean? The only way that you could actually possibly do that is if you actually force people to not have babies, like you gave them birth control or something. You all right.
That's just fucked up.
I was thinking about that. I've had this moral argument in my head before. Like, should we stop unintelligent people from having babies? What do you think?
Should there be a law about it?
Yeah, or
They get punished if they do.
Yeah, like a limit or something. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, if your IQ is under 100, you get one kid.
I'd be down with that.
Yeah,
I'd be down with that.
it's a slippery.
Not that specific.
It's
but
a slippery slope, though. You know what I mean?
Something, yeah, some kind of constructed setup. Exactly. Mm-hmm. I'd be down with that.
Yeah.
Well, it would encourage people to get more educated, or whatever's required. It would encourage people to meet the requirements. If there's no requirements, everybody's running a fucking muck.
Yeah,
you know
I guess
what I mean?
if it's just like a fine or something, I guess that would be fine. Communist China, yeah. Well, this is just a theoretical conversation because there's pros and cons to this argument, and I'm not in favor of doing that. I'm just like, what can we do to make more intelligent people? You know what I mean? Is that an option, or do we fucking focus more on
What's up, Rudy? How about incentivize
eugenics? That's
eugenics?
literally what we're talking about.
Okay, yeah, exactly. That's what we're talking about, man. We didn't really specify, but I'm open for that because we're talking about requirements now, and I think that needs to be established.
Or I guess that's what you're saying. Incentivize eugenics. So, okay, if you're college educated and you have a kid, we'll give you $20,000. That might work better than punishing already poor, unintelligent people. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Giving rewards to the intelligent people for producing more intelligent people. That might actually be kind of
that would be
cooler
better,
option.
actually. Yeah. I hadn't thought of it with that angle. That's pretty good. I love this, Mom. That's not why you had babies. Usually people that do that, it carries generation to generation and never stops. You went back to school and started working for the Host 2 to get out of the system. Good for you. No, definitely. I wouldn't think, the hospital. Yeah. No, I'm not saying that you're included in that, obviously, and I'm saying you had me because there's no, because there was an incentive or anything like that. So, no, I understand that. And again, I think this has been a more recent thing, I feel like. I don't know how recent, maybe 20 years, 10 years. So your time is a little bit different, I think. I think it's just gotten amplified with the tax incentive really specifically. I feel like the tax incentive is one of the biggest things. So
yeah. So Rudy said, what what I meant was if dumb people got paid to get vasectomies.
Ooh.
So you're not having a law that fines them, but you are paying them to make themselves sterile, basically. The problem is you have to test everyone, right? So you'd have to be like, what's your intelligence level? And how do we define intelligence? Because even people are like, IQ tests don't really define intelligence. Would it be by education level? Like if you don't have a college degree or like...
Here's a better question. If you're at a certain IQ level, do you get a chance to raise that in a certain time frame to get requalified?
Yeah.
Because giving people chances, I'm all for. But...
You could definitely grow your intelligence. I mean, everyone probably has a ceiling, you know what I mean? How intelligent you can become. But I'm sure most of us aren't there, so...
Absolutely. I completely agree about that, man. I'm not even there, and I put fucking a lot of energy into my life. So
yeah, I know I'm not close to my potential. I was smarter when I was younger.
We're all not living to our potential, so this is a fact.
But yeah, on another note, there's other...
Or they got offered dumb prizes, like you'd see them on Prices Right. That you're giving me some funny ass imagery, man.
It's the end of the world, man. What's happening? Dude, what was I thinking? Oh, we wouldn't even have to do that if we just invested more time or money into education, you know?
Absolutely, because what we're talking about is getting smarter, really. And then procreating intelligence as well. Yeah. So that's really what the nuts and bolts of what we're trying to get at is.
That's probably a better option, honestly. I mean, I'm just talking theoretical with the eugenics thing, but honestly, we just need to focus on education.
Absolutely.
And we need to...
Education could, but I think we're on to something, like correlating education into expanding your family should be highly considered. Education's not even considered when you're having a family.
No, it's all about love.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah. Well, love is good, but as Dan Pena says, it doesn't get the job done. And I'm all for love, but you gotta. Oh, by the way, that reminds me of one thing that Jenny Durkin did say. Powerful statement she said that really resonated with me. She said, if you have anger, let your anger drive you towards a positive change. And that was really powerful, I think, with these protests, with people that are vandalizing and causing havoc. And that's really powerful more for the people that are getting so irate they can't think. They're as we said, we had a conversation about people that can't separate emotion from logic. Right. That's a powerful statement for those people that just have a hard time separating emotion from logic.
Yeah. This kind of will tie into what I was just talking about, because we're talking about getting people more educated.
Yeah.
I think we need to reform the education system as well, because it's just, right now, it's just geared towards memorizing stuff. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's not really geared to help you grow as a person or necessarily even teach you that many actual useful skills in life, especially grade school.
It needs to be more self-improvement related.
Yeah.
Instead of parroting a bunch of shit.
Yeah, like for instance, we've both been in anger management, right? So,
yeah.
And that was one of the best classes I've ever taken, but I didn't take that out of school. And I think that even people that don't have big anger problems could still learn
absolutely.
a lot about that, because it's really just channeling and learning to manage your emotions. And I think they should teach something like that in school. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And we can all agree that anger is within all of us, and it can be a small amount, big amount. It's definitely in different stages of our life, different situations in our life. I 100% agree with you. There's fucking a couple dozen things that I implement to this day that I learned in anger management. It wasn't about trying to control your anger and only that. There was a lot of things that I learned about myself.
Yeah, about myself. I learned a lot about relationships and anger management. How to navigate.
Powerful stuff, man.
Yeah.
I loved the anger management class, and it really matters what kind of counselor you have as well, because my counselor was a superb individual.
Yeah, where'd you go?
Kane and Atwill Associates here in Lacey.
Oh, okay.
I won't name drop the end of my counselor, but very substantial guy who played a pivotal role in my life. I don't even know if I had a chance to tell him that, really. And I've seen him shopping a couple times and like, hey, and I really wanted to have that opportunity to tell him like, hey man, you know, I appreciate the work you do. and you had a huge impact on my life.
Yeah, I forgot I feel bad. I forgot the name of my anger management counselor, but he was really good. He wrote a book, and he taught through his book, and his book was really fucking good. So
nice. You can tell when people are passionate about their work, and especially anger management.
Yeah,
they really provide a lot of value in their classes. It's not just going through the motions. You know what I mean? They take the time. They take individual time with you. I really like that about a good counselor.
Yeah, I just remembered. I was just remembering this one lesson where he was talking about I think he was talking about like body language and just like tone, but he had us line up and like invade each other's space, and see how they felt. And I remember there was like this big dude that was like in a gang or something, dude. He's like fucking 6'3" and shit, and he's like muscle, and I'm like this skinny fucking 24-year-old at the time. And I get up in the face, I'm like, what's up? You know what I mean? And the guy had to pretend like I was upsetting him, but like that guy didn't give a fuck. You know what I mean? But that was just a funny situation that I thought, like, I'm 5'10", 140 pounds. You know what I mean? This guy's like 6'3", 200. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't.
What's funny is that doesn't even matter because you can definitely be upset by someone smaller than you.
Yeah,
you know
I just meant like he wasn't like intimidated by me. You know what I mean? If anything, especially because it was a scenario, so it wasn't like I was actually doing that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like he's not going to take that seriously. You know what I mean? It's like whatever.
It sounds like the whole.
I was doing it with a smile because it was so awkward. You know what I mean? So like, there's no way. But yeah, I just remembered that when we were talking because this was so funny.
That is funny. I can already tell though that exercise was the purpose of that was to get a reaction and mm-hmm. to analyze your reaction out of that. So it really had nothing to do with intimidation.
Yeah. If
you would have said something to him, it would still impact him. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He wouldn't have been intimidated by you, but you have words that could have made him feel pissed off or annoyed or happy. You can really implement some feelings out of people no matter what size you are. Mm-hmm. I mean, my daughter can do that. She can make me angry. She can make me happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Can you turn on the fan?
Yeah, it's hotter. Shit.
It's like my hands are starting to feel kind of sweaty. So
you getting clammy over there? Yeah, dude, let's address some of these.
It's just, Grandma said, Grandma Linda, people did it then too. They had earned income.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's what I was saying. I feel like it's gotten worse. The earned income credit is basically having kids, mm-hmm. Getting extra money for kids. So absolutely, it's just gotten worse, I feel like, because people just openly, I mean, I've had personal conversations with a couple specific females that were talking about that, literally, like how they look forward to a tax or having a child because they're going to get a tax benefit. Yeah. I was really shocked to hear that. I was like, wow, that's crazy. And they thought nothing of it. It was like the norm.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that's the incentive, I guess. Line cooks are another level of anger, huh?
I feel like that's more of a culture, and I don't think line cooks aren't usually dicks outside of work towards the employees. You know what I mean? They're just like
at work.
That's just I mean, but I think the people underneath the line cooks also kind of know that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They realize that that's just how the industry is, especially with like Gordon Ramsay and shit on TV.
I was just thinking of him right when you said line cooks too. Which is funny because I don't think he's a line cook, obviously.
No, he's like a head chef. So.
He would be fucking offended if we grouped him in with a line cook.
Oh, that line cook, Gordon Ramsay? He's like never being on your podcast, ever.
By the way, Gordon Ramsay, I went to your restaurant in Las Vegas. No vegan options. I'm disappointed in you, my man. I know you're not a big vegan fan, but you should still respect the market. It's an upcoming thing. Tons of smart-ass business companies have catered to this, and they realize that there's a change in the market. So it's not really about supplicating the vegans or plant-based people. It's about being business smart and having options on your menu. So I would recommend that.
Yeah, and also just kind of respecting people's decisions. You know?
Obviously, but at the very least, make it a good business decision. I mean, ultimately, it would be nice.
I completely agree, and I'm a pretty big Gordon Ramsay fan, actually. So, But
Fantastic restaurant, great establishment. You know, like
like I had a lot of good water there.
I was expecting. You know what I mean? Like, holy shit, they have to have vegan options here. Like, no, they're like, we got fries and a kale salad. That'll be all right? Like, if that's all you got, yeah. And it was like, okay, you know what I mean?
Yeah. How are the fries? Best fries ever? Like, dude, this fucking kale salad, best kale salad.
The fries came in a tumbler, dude, like a silver tumbler, like this big and like that tall. It was like, it's a weird way to eat fries.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I got the special treatment. Let's put it that way. I was that guy.
Yeah. That's fun.
Oh man.
Gordon Ramsay's restaurant and got French fries.
Good old Gordon Ramsay, yeah. I got an image of you now, man. So yeah, they're friendly outside of work, and yeah, right on, dude. We'll have to get down on some of them line cook stories one of these days.
Yeah. It reminds me, Roland, or just about Roland, not actually addressing Roland, but
he's here with us.
he is here. Hello, buddy.
Hello.
Is that we need. I really want to focus on getting our next guest. So any of our local friends or whatever, if you want to get on the show, let us know.
Yeah.
Down to have some guests. You just got to. Well, it might be a little bit picky because we want people that we can kind of debate with and be a little bit open-minded. So if you're a little bit too hardcore of like, I stick directly to my arguments, might not work for the format as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're gonna be a little picky and choosy, and we can be. So we gotta have some thoughtful, open-minded conversations. Is all. So if you think you can do that, we're really trying to get some guests up in here, and
yeah, we might get some virtual guests too. But if we get virtual guests, they'll probably like semi-famous people or famous people or people.
Let's hope so.
Yeah.
We got a list we're gonna reach out to.
Yeah, we're gonna reach out to some people. I mean, the other guy got those musicians on his thing, so I feel like we could get.
He's a very established musician, though.
Oh, what does he play? Who is he playing?
You're talking about John and Abiotic, who we reviewed. How
big is Abiotic though?
They're pretty big in the metal community.
Okay.
And that's who he's. That's who.
Right.
I mean, he's sponsored by Ormsby Guitars and stuff. So.
Oh, is he? He's sponsored. Okay, all right.
He's super good, dude. Like,
okay,
yeah.
I didn't realize they were like that.
Big shout out to John, dude. Yeah.
That's cool.
Abiotic. Yeah, super mad respect to you, dude. Plus, yeah, I mean, he's always making moves, man. So, I mean, that's why he's got such a huge fan base, is because Abiotic has toured with every famous band you could ever think of in metal. So,
shout to John. I don't know who DMC Darkside is, but
DMC Darkside. Who are you, man? Identify yourself.
Who that person? I was gonna say that boy, but it could be a girl. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it could be a boy. Yeah. Who's that person? Why'd I assume that Darkside was like a dude? That's fucked up.
It kind of sounds like a dude's name, but who knows?
I'm putting labels on you, man.
Yeah, whatever.
But yeah, so let's see. We won't talk about that. It's funny how the coronavirus just got put on the back burner right now.
Yeah.
And apparently there's a lot of case. Oh, he's an intruder. That's cool. We accept intruders.
Yeah, you break into our podcast.
Yeah, men, women, invade away.
Also non-binary people.
Dude, yeah, get up in the conversation. Let us know your thoughts on some of the stuff we're talking about. What's funny is, yeah, the coronavirus just like fell into the shadows now, right?
Well, the coronavirus numbers are going down too.
Are they?
Yeah.
They went up in Yakima.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Recently?
I believe so. I just seen Jay Inslee doing a speech about Yakima. He's very concerned about it because they keep going up.
Yeah, Yakima had one of the higher case rates in the
Apparently
state.
He's from Yakima. I didn't know that.
Wow.
He spent a bunch of years, a couple decades, he said, or over 10 years or something like that. He raised all 3 of his kids there.
I feel bad for you and your kids.
I was shocked to hear that, though. Yeah,
that's crazy.
I was like, lo and behold. But yeah, no, he was talking about, like, people take this seriously.
Mm-hmm. It's not very bad over here, Thurston County.
Well, that's good news.
I think there's only been like, don't quote me on this. It's like 100 or 200, 100 cases, 200 cases or something.
Yeah.
250 new cases and 6 deaths in Washington yesterday. Yeah, see, that's not even that bad though. Like 250 cases, there's over 7 million people here.
He's got some stats for you right there.
6 deaths.
So 250 new cases and 6 deaths in Washington yesterday, huh? Roland, that's crazy, dude.
That's not that bad.
I mean, if it's consistent like that, that's pretty bad. 250 times, you put that in a month. That's a lot of cases, I think, right?
Yeah, you times it by 10, that's 2,500. It's 7,500 in a month.
In a month?
That's not that bad.
It's not that bad?
No, that's...
How much is that in a year?
I don't know, it's like 90,000.
Say 500 times... Okay, 90,000, is that still not that bad?
I mean, that's cases.
When does it become bad? I know. He said cases.
Deaths, you know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
So
I mean, just cases are bad too, though, because they're spreading it, right?
Yeah. But the U.S. at its peak was getting like 30,000 cases a day, and over 2,000 deaths every single day.
That's crazy.
So, in perspective, that's not that bad. You know what I mean? And I bet you know what I mean. There's probably more cases of flu every day, and probably less deaths than flu. But I bet you there's a couple people dying every day from the flu in Washington as well.
Yeah, Roland's got a good point. There's probably people out there that aren't even going to the hospital as well.
Oh yeah,
so.
But that's true across the whole country.
Yeah,
across the whole world, honestly. So
yeah,
it's really hard to put into perspective. That also kind of says something though, because I think Elon Musk was even talking about it. It's like there's so many people that have the virus or had the virus, didn't even realize they had the virus, or asymptomatic.
I'm pretty sure I had it back in January.
That the virus is a lot less deadly than the numbers really show, because you can only have confirmed cases and confirmed deaths, right?
Yeah.
The deaths are a lot easier to point out, but the confirmed cases is really hard to get an accurate number, because a lot of people aren't going to go to the hospital, aren't going to get tested. You know what I mean? If they're just like, I feel kind of shitty, but I'm all right. You know what I mean?
So apparently, yeah, Mom says we're second in Washington State after King County.
We should talk about Yakima County. Yakima County is second.
Oh yeah, Yakima County is second. Yeah. Clarification. Yeah, and I don't doubt if you had it in February, Roland, because I had something crazy for like 2 weeks in January, and that shit was brutal. I don't get sick like that very often, ever, really. So
that's right, you were sick for a while.
That had to be it.
I hope so, especially because you go out on so many business meetings. It'd be nice if you already have an immunity. You're not bringing it home to me. I might have already had it though. You know what I mean? I went because I started feeling a little funny there for a little bit after I went and flew in the end of February, beginning of March.
We're part of that herd immunity, man.
Hopefully. If not, hopefully our immune systems are good enough.
Does that mean we're spreading it?
No, because if
we're trying to spread the herd.
Yeah, if you already have immunity, your body doesn't have the virus in you anymore, and if you come in contact with the virus, your immune system will immediately kill it.
Oh yeah.
So you'll be fine.
Nice.
Your dad was sick for over 3 weeks. Fuck, dude.
Dang, dude. That's fucking sad, man. That's like a solid fucking month almost.
Dude, I would hate my life for those 3 weeks, dude. Can you imagine being sick for 3 fucking weeks, dude? Every time I get like even a cold for 2 weeks, I'm like, I hate this.
Yeah.
You get those long colds, I'm like, what the fuck, dude?
That's brutal, man. Well, hopefully he's feeling good now, man, because...
Yeah, I think that was in February, too.
Oh, yeah, in February, okay.
Worst cold he ever had, called out for almost 2 weeks. And that doesn't even sound like your dad, you know what I mean, to call out.
Yeah.
All the time. That's crazy.
He's a workaholic?
I don't know if he's a workaholic, but he's just consistent, you know what I mean? Nice. He's got a good job, and he's always kind of does this, goes to work.
Nice.
I've never had, all the times I've stayed there, I've never seen him call out or anything, so.
Nice.
I mean, it's not like I've stayed there for like super long periods of time. I've stayed there for like maybe a week or two at a time, though.
Yeah. I would say the last thing I probably would want to say about the, we don't want to burn up the whole podcast about the protesters and what's going on.
I feel like it's already 8:30.
Yeah, I know, isn't that crazy?
Wild.
But I would say that I do agree with this. I didn't hear this anywhere. I just kind of thought of this myself. I understand you can't fight. You shouldn't fight hate and anger with hate and anger. I see that going on. You can't fight hate and anger with hate and anger. And it almost sounded like I said Saint Anger. Not to get confused with the Metallica song. You can't fight hate with love. You can to a point, but love really doesn't get the job done. This is my opinion. This is my personal opinion. You should fight hate and anger with just flat out assertiveness and being firm. And that's what protesting should be about, is being assertive and getting that message out there. Obviously love's gonna help behind that, but I don't think that's the key factor for me.
Yeah.
I think just being assertive, like in your message, like this is what we want it now.
Yeah. I don't know
What do you
if
think?
I don't know if I completely agree with you, but I understand the thought process.
Yeah.
I don't completely disagree with that either. I just don't know.
What
You know
do
what I
you
mean?
think is more important if you had to take a? I know that you agree. Hate, you can't fight. You shouldn't fight hate and anger with hate and anger, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I think we can be on agreement with that.
Yeah, I just don't know how like love and assertiveness really compare. Like, I guess you can't really quantify it, but
Yeah.
yeah, you might be right. I don't know.
If you had to make a separation, which I just did.
I don't know, man. Sometimes assertiveness is off-putting, though. So.
But you're very clear with
Yeah.
what you want. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A love can be pushed over, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just I don't know, man. I
know it's a weird thing.
Yeah,
I thought about
it's
it
also
though.
a strange question. It's such a hard thing to think about. I don't know. I honestly just don't know.
That's honest. Yeah.
I don't want to pretend like I know which one's better.
Well, it's not a right or wrong answer. It's just what I was asking. What you thought
What
about
I think?
it. Yeah, because that's just my
I think
personal
you're
opinion
kind
about
of.
it.
I think you're kind of right on the love. You can be just kind of pushed over. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
sometimes
it can be mistaken as a weakness.
Yeah, I just don't. Do you have any other options besides love, assertiveness, and anger? Is there any other options?
I haven't put more thought into it. No, that's just kind of the 3 breakdowns I did.
Yeah.
Today.
I guess assertiveness probably is the best out of those 3.
I think so too.
I definitely, like you're saying, you definitely need to have some love. You know, I come from a place of good intentions.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just don't know if assertive is the best route. It sounds like probably the best out of the 3, though.
Nice.
Yeah, I have to think about that some more, actually.
Yeah, you should write it down, and we'll to be continued on that one.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting though, because like I always think like I thought about what is going on, what would be better, would be a better approach, you know, and just using my personal experience and stuff whenever I wanted to change. That's kind of how I feel about it. So again, my opinion can change on this too. It's just kind of, I mean, I only had a day to put a thought into it though. So I know what's going on right now as far as the hate and anger is going on. It's not working. We can definitely agree that hate and anger is not working, and it's not effective, and it's actually worsening the situation. So let's just have a more realistic talk with yourself and each other, especially if you're involved in the protesting right now. Think about what message you're trying to send, what message you're trying to convey, what you want, and just stick to that without having, like we said earlier, your emotions override your logic. It's great to be emotional. We are emotional creatures, but we got to be logical, especially if we're asking for some change and we're asking for some things to happen, because emotion just gets people not thinking straight.
Yeah.
When it gets out of control. And then I think you were talking about herd mentality, when you get the very emotional people, and especially getting amplified with herds. I think some dangerous things can happen, and the message is lost, and what you're trying to accomplish is just not going to happen.
Yeah.
And so I think it's important for protesters to really sit back and think a little bit more.
Yeah. I'm pretty happy about there being a movement, though.
Yeah, I can get on board with that, dude.
Yeah.
Because
it could definitely be orchestrated better from both sides, like we were saying last time.
Yeah, because after you know, when you said earlier in the podcast that you know, when I said, so, you know, in a day and age you can get your message out there on social media, I do agree that it does make a more of a statement to get out there and march.
Especially during the pandemic, honestly. Think about that. These people are risking a lot, honestly.
Yeah.
Risking violence, they're risking getting sick for a cause that they're very passionate about. So, I mean, I fully support that. Just don't be crazy violent, you know? That's
just really think of your emotions while you're in it. Just be very aware of how you're reacting and how you're being received and how things are getting amplified. So, but yeah, Yeah, I was listening to a couple people talk about that actually. Out of all people, Lil Wayne was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Or Lil Wayne was one of them.
Little Wayne.
That's funny. I said Little Wayne. I don't know if you'd approve of that, but I heard his little talk there on Fat Joe's podcast, and he has a very interesting angle.
Yeah, he has very interesting opinions on things, actually.
Yeah, I didn't know that about Lil Wayne, and so it really surprised me. But I don't want to. I should have took more notes on that speech. I had so much to talk about. I didn't really specifically take notes on that, but if I remember right, he was talking a lot about the reason he didn't get involved about it or feel so emotionally attached about the George Floyd incident or the protesting and things like that that's happening is because he didn't know much about it. And there's things behind the scene that he just doesn't know all the facts. And there's things that people might not know all the facts about.
That's probably, I mean, it's good, you know.
That's one of the things he said.
Have some humility and not just join on a side without knowing the whole situation.
Yeah.
It's intelligent, you know, so.
And he thought, no, actually, yeah, he came across as intelligent when I heard him talking. I was like, I didn't expect that from Lil Wayne. So he was, you know, that was one of the things he said. He was saying, you know, he just doesn't think he should... He thinks tweeting is a waste of time, and he thinks if he was going to make an impact on something, he's not going to go tweet. He's all about the taking action. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I can get on board with that for sure.
Yeah.
Because this day and age, he was making an example that someone will throw a tweet out on there and they think they did something. But then that kind of contradicts what I said earlier about how, you know, in a day and age where we live on social media, you can get your message out that way. So he's kind of saying, you're not doing much by doing that.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of what I was saying. It's not.
I agree.
It's not as impactful.
I agree on that. Yeah, and I really didn't think about it that way. So I guess I was thinking about it more of numbers because obviously, yeah, it's a lot easier just to click on the keys there and send something out. But if you had 1 million of those, it's like, oh shit,
yeah.
1 million people took their time.
Yeah, it's just hard to like sift through bullshit on the internet too. And it's like, remember when everyone signed up, they're like, oh, we're gonna go invade Area 51. Remember that?
Yeah.
I fucking remember that.
What happened to that?
Dude, I think
that sounded cool for a second.
It sounded cool, and then like a very small amount of people showed up and they just like hung out. Didn't do shit.
They're like, wait a second, I thought it was like 3 million people were supposed to be here.
I thought it was supposed to be like over 100,000 or something.
Oh really?
Yeah. But
yeah, that was hilarious, dude. I was wondering about the hype on that. I was like, are they really gonna go to Area 51 and get like shot at or something?
They totally would have gotten shot at.
Oh, you damn well best believe the government will cover their secrets, man. You step on their toes like that and try to expose them, they will silence you.
Not only that, but you just can't break into a military base, even if there isn't any secrets at that military base. You can't just hoard,
yeah,
create a fucking mob and go into a military base and expect nothing to happen. Things will happen.
Especially because they all expected it too. Is just the hype behind. They had a very fair warning.
Yeah, they knew well in advance.
They were ready.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. But yeah, another guy I would listen to is David Goggins. You've heard me talk a lot about him. He's like a highly motivational. So I have like social media mentors. David Goggins is one of those individuals. He was talking about his personal experience because people were asking him like, hey, why haven't you talked about what's going on right now? Mm-hmm. You know, I wish I would take notes on that. I'm actually going to go back and take notes because he had a lot of powerful things to say on that. He was talking about his experiences with racism in high school. You know, he would come out to his car and, you know, it'd be spray painted, you know, we're going to kill you effing NIGGA.
Yeah.
He lived in a country or in a state, in a city where the KKK marched in a parade.
Wow.
Yeah. They had to march a little further back, but they were in the parade for the town.
That's insane.
So that's the type of experience he had with racism. He had it all through military as well. But he also highlighted the individuals that helped him, and almost all of them were white. He was really highlighting that a lot. Mm-hmm. He was saying, you know, everybody who got changed my mentality. The guy who gave me a foot in the Navy SEALs, the guy who let me do this was all white. And it's funny, Lil Wayne actually said the same thing. He was talking about how a white cop saved his life when he got shot or shot himself in his house or something like that.
Oh, yeah?
So I kind of appreciate that, because I think it gets lost in the mix where we're starting to group people and kind of cast judgment on one group.
Yeah, you can't. This is generalizing. Too much
Too much generalizing. Yeah, I think it's important to highlight that there's individuals that are bad. There's individuals that are good. There's individuals that make good decisions. There's individuals that make the bad decisions. So
definitely people in the middle too.
No matter what your race, gender, there's different types of people out there. So just be very aware not to generalize people like that, because the message gets lost in that as well. Yeah. So I think that's important. And again, I'm gonna have to go back and take some notes, because he actually did like a solid 5-minute clip of an Instagram about it. And,
oh yeah.
Yeah, he's got some real good stuff, man. He's got value and some good content. Another thing, you remember Harry Mack, that rapper that freestyles on the street? I showed you.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
He'll just have you throw out a word and you start rapping.
That was so good.
Super good, dude. Well, he's got his own like podcast where I think he has people call in and give their recommendations, and he'll start freestyling on the spot with it. Yeah,
that's cool.
We should have looked it up, but he did one on Black Lives Matter recently, and it was really fucking cool, man.
Oh, yeah.
It was pretty damn
He's
cool.
white, right?
He's white, yes.
Okay,
Harry Mack is white. Harry Mack, you're the shit, dude. There's a couple different dudes out there that are doing the freestyle. There's that one comedian that does it too, who's like British. Pretty funny. But I like Harry Mack. I like your style. I like the way you do things, and I definitely like the way he off the cuff does the freestyle, and it all just flows. It's all relative. Mm-hmm. Very creative. We'll have to review that one of these times, because it's funny. Maybe we'll ask him to permission to review one of his songs or something like that, or his freestyles rather.
Yeah. See
what's up with that. But yeah, really cool. Check him out if you haven't seen Harry Mack. Dude's awesome and hilarious and very talented. But yeah, I think we covered a lot of my stuff. The only thing, what else? What you got, man? You got anything you want to talk about?
Not really, honestly.
Really?
Yeah. No. Well, most of the stuff is the stuff I want to talk about. Stuff I want to review for our next podcast.
Okay.
Saturday.
Okay.
I figured you had that extensive list, so I'm gonna go off of that.
Yeah, I mean, I got a couple more things. One thing I did want to... It's funny, because me and you were talking about tattoos.
Right.
Let's change gears here a little bit.
Okay.
So yeah, we were talking about tattoos, and you were talking about how you don't have tattoos and your reasons why you don't have tattoos.
Yeah.
And then I was talking to you about my tattoos. Well, I like to explain that because it kind of explains a little bit about myself too. So I have the most douchiest tattoos ever. No, it's not a Pacific Northwest tree, but it's probably even douchier. It was back when tribal was cool, right? So I got the cool tribals done, right? And yeah, I'm a person who really analyzes myself a lot. I'm a huge self analyzer. I like to get in deep with my mind. Why I do things I do? Why I have done the things I've done? What, you know what I mean? Like how my mentality has changed, and that's how you learn as an individual. Well, speaking about tattoos, the reason I thought about it was because I was at an interview with a couple friends I know, and she's seen my tattoos. I got tribals going up and down my arm, and she said, "Oh, those are really cool. I like your tattoos." And I gave her an answer she didn't expect. I said, "Oh, yeah, I don't really like them much. There's like one or two I like." She was really shocked. She's like, why would you say that? You got a bunch of tattoos. You're telling me you don't like all those tattoos? And I explained it to her. I was like, yeah, no, I'm not real happy with the tattoos I got because it represents a different time in my life when I got the tattoos. So when I got them, a lot of the reason, I'm going to be fucking honest with you guys, and I would challenge a lot of you guys to be honest with yourselves as well, because most people don't even do this. But I was seriously posturing masculinity when I got these tribal tattoos. I wanted to be cool. I wanted to be hard, which is funny because I shouldn't have needed to do that. I already knew in myself that I was hard and tough, I guess. And like, if the time calls for it, I'm a pretty hard individual and I got Teflon skin. And so for some reason, I felt the urgency to posture more masculinity. You know what I mean? To get accepted by men, masculine men. Mm-hmm. And so I got these tribal tattoos. Right? What more of a way to be more masculine to have tribal tattoos? And so that's why I don't like them, because I don't operate that way anymore. I have nothing to prove. I have nothing to show people. I don't need to posture masculinity. I've proven so much to myself, and anybody who knows me knows what I've done and how I think, and can validate for themselves their own opinion that like, oh yeah, he's definitely, I don't need those. I can't see him posturing masculinity anymore. So I don't think I come across as posturing masculinity anymore. If I do, you're definitely confused, because I don't do that. So yeah, I openly admit that my tattoos are just a representation of when I was trying to posture masculinity and try to be cool, try to be tough, try to fit in with the dudes. I probably have 13 tattoos and I only like 2 of them. So it's pretty crazy to think about. So what are your thoughts on tattoos, man?
I don't mind tattoos. I think people need to get more creative with their tattoos. Either have something be like cool in a creative way. You know what I mean? It'd be like a piece of art or something, like an actual piece of art, not tribal things or like fucking Pacific Northwest trees and shit. It's like, please stop. But if you have something that's like genuinely cool or has some meaning for you, I like them. I personally just don't do them because I don't know, I get anxiety about having tattoos. I also think, for me, I feel like if I got tattoos, it'd be like for insecure reasons. Like, I don't like my body, so I'm going to cover up my body. And I feel like I'm trying to, appreciate my body more. But I'm totally cool with other people getting tattoos. So you do what you want with your body, express yourself.
I love art, and I love the idea of basically making your body a canvas for art. I love the idea of that. And so I'm actually disappointed that I didn't take advantage of that truly when I started getting tattoos. Yeah. Instead, I cared more what other people thought.
Especially with you being an artist, it's kind of crazy.
Isn't that crazy? Well, a lot of the pieces I did draw, but they just were to impress people.
Yeah.
And that's what's sad. That's what's sad to think about now. And so that's why when I see my tattoos, it's a clear disappointment and a representation of my mindset years ago. I haven't had a tattoo in like 7 years now.
Yeah. What's the last one you got? The music notes? Or
God, what is the last one I got? I think it was the spruce tree. Or yeah. Which is a unique tree. It's not a Pacific Northwest tree. It's got tribally roots, and that might seem douchey, but that's actually my style. I've always drawn creepy shit. Yeah. And I'm just fascinated with spiky, creepy shit, which might have been another fascination with tribal, the fact that I already like that style. But honestly, the reason I got them primarily was to be cool and to posture. So
you would have been cool as if you just got tattooed "I'm cool" on your arm, because it would have been so funny. So they'd be like, "All right, that guy is cool."
That would be funny, dude. Maybe that'll be my next one, in color.
If you want people to think you're cool, just be authentic. People appreciate authenticity.
Absolutely.
Just get like whatever the fuck you want. Whatever you like, man. You like fucking...
I've seen some cool fucking tattoos.
You like
man.
Hello Kitty, get a Hello Kitty tattoo. People are like, "Why, you have a Hello Kitty tattoo? What the fuck?" That's some douches will judge you, but fuck them, whatever.
Yeah. Tattoos are an interesting thing, so... But yeah, I want to challenge people, like, why do you get certain tattoos that you've got? Because, a lot of people out there might be like, well, that was you, man. Like, that's not why I got tattoos. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But truly, I know I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one. So I'm the only one to probably admit it, though. And so I have no shame in myself. Like I said, I analyze myself in every aspect and try to be better. So that's tattoos, man. Funny shit. I do have a couple rants, so I got time for some rants, dude.
Yeah, you definitely got time. We got like 10 minutes. So.
Great. The first rant I'm gonna get on is homeless people and trash. So I was driving down Olympia today, downtown, and obviously they got Tent City going on. And I understand there's homeless people that are in situations they have to be there. They're mentally incapable of being anywhere. But why the trash? Why can't we consolidate trash? Why the disrespect of nature? Yeah. I mean, you got a fucking shitload of tents all over the place and then just trash all over the fucking place. I don't understand it, man. It's completely...
Are there bins there?
No, there was a bin, yeah. There's a garbage can close to the bridge.
Okay.
But, and that's what makes it even more ironic. Because right, like 100 feet away from there, there's trash all over the place. Like, littered with it.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. Like, are you guys trying to make a statement with that? Or are you just fucking lazy?
I think it's
lazy. How many, I don't know if there's a lot of homeless people watching this podcast, but...
Sitting on their fucking iPhones and shit. It's like...
I don't get it, though. The trash is just fucking uncalled for, people. You're destroying the planet. It's really self-absorbed way to live your life, too. Yeah, so Roland's saying, you drove through Seattle last week. There's a tent in the middle of the sidewalk. Trash all over. Disgusting as fuck. Yes, I agree. Down the road, Tent City. Yes, I'm on board, dude. And I think a lot of it, definitely being lazy is one of them. Absolutely. I was trying to wrap my head around it. I'm like, why are they doing this?
I don't think they're trying to make a statement. I think it is just laziness.
Yeah?
That's like extreme lazy. That's like lazier than me. I mean, I'm fucking messy, but in public, I throw my trash in the fucking trash can. So, like, how you can be more lazier than me? That's pretty fucking hard to do, honestly.
I mean, I guess they're on drugs, too, so they're just not thinking right as well. Well, I mean, that's not fair of me to say that. Most of them are probably on drugs. I don't know, man. It's just, I wish they would just pick up after themselves, you know what I mean? It wouldn't be so fucking disgusting if you didn't have the trash there.
No, people wouldn't dislike homeless people as much as they do if they presented themselves a little bit better.
Exactly.
I understand that you're homeless, but like, take a shower or something, you know what I mean?
They're not helping their stigma.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Not helping your cause.
You're not, yeah.
I understand.
They're destroying the world.
Yeah.
I mean...
Dude...
They're part of it. I mean, obviously, there's agriculture and so on and so forth. Plastics being we understand that part of it, but you put all the homeless people's trash together, it's probably a lot.
So yeah, okay. So Roland said, "I can't feel sorry for someone that doesn't want to help themselves," and I think that's a good point. But I also don't think we're doing enough to help them help themselves. I think we need.
I think you could be right. Yeah.
I think we need more programs trying to get these people back into society, trying to help them with their problems, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not possible for all of them, but I think we can help a percentage of them for sure.
That you know, the statement that Roland says, he can't feel sorry for someone who doesn't want to help themselves. I agree, but that only applies to a portion of them. Yeah, there's some people in there that are just like completely mentally unstable. And that might feel sorry for because they're never going to be able to fit in society. They've been, you know, they didn't have a chance. They have a fighting chance from the get-go. So, and then you add drugs. Meth is so addictive. By the time they come down, they're addicted, and there needs to be a reform of help. Yeah, I agree. It's the drugs. I was just saying that the drugs is a huge problem. Contributes to the laziness. When you're on drugs, you obviously don't give a fuck about anything but you getting high. So you're really self-absorbed. So there's so many elements to why homeless people are living trashy. Because, I mean, again, there could be a more sophisticated way, I think. And I understand it's a little tougher with the resources being limited, but...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We need to give them more resources because basically they fall into this hole and it's hard to get out of that hole.
Yeah.
And I think we can do a lot to help them.
Yeah.
A lot more than we are.
Yeah. Because I was going to say, there has been some help. I mean, they designated a whole parking lot for people to set up Tent City down there in Olympia too.
Yeah, there's that. But also, like, if you think, like, they have homeless shelters, right? But they'll kick them out and be rude to them and shit. You know what I mean? Just not actually being completely caring, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, what would you suggest? Like a whole establishment, kind of like a.
I think more like policy. Yeah, I think we should do some policy. Try to get some programs for them. Maybe like.
But as far as the living situation goes, how would you address that?
I think we have enough space in taxpayer money. We could probably make them something.
Like a building.
Yeah, like a building where they can stay. Obviously, it'd have to be monitored, probably, but
yeah,
I think we could do it, honestly, and I think it'd be worth it. But
I'd be interested to try that if I was in a position of power to make that call.
Yeah.
I think it'd be interesting to try. It'd be worth it to try it, I think.
Yeah, but policy-wise, I think we should create programs that help homeless people find jobs, for instance. Help homeless people with addiction.
I think that's a huge percentage of them too.
Yeah, so
I wonder what it is, but if I had to guess, addiction plays a huge percentage of homeless people.
I mean, homelessness is a very nuanced, convoluted subject that I'm not an expert in, so I'm just spitballing ideas here. But
nor am I, yeah.
But there's definitely more we could be doing. And I don't know exactly what, but we should try.
Yeah, I agree. My homeless experience was a bad experience was when I was driving. I don't know if you remember me telling the story, but I was driving down there on Black Lake Belmore, and a homeless guy was walking down the road, and he started cocking back his arm like that as I was driving by, and I was like, what is he doing? He's like, he's going to throw a rock. I was like, he's not going to do that, is he? Sure as shit, as I was passing him, the man throws a rock, breaks out my back window in my truck. Malia was in the truck at the time. He hit the same side the Malia was on. It shattered the whole window and just missed her. I was irate. I stopped the truck and backed up traffic and was yelling at him, and he was like sitting there storming off, yelling some stuff. Like he was obviously a little bit crazy. Mm-hmm. I turned around, followed him. He went into a store. I called the cops, let them know what happened. I was super pissed. And they came and they talked to him. They came out and talked to me, and they said, look, man, he's got bigger problems to worry about. And I couldn't believe that they told me that. I was like, you telling me he's not going to get arrested or nothing's going to happen to him? I was like, look at my window. Look at where my daughter's at. What if he would have hit her in the head? He was like, well, that would have been a different story. Well, where does the line draw when we start punishing people who are mentally unstable? I don't know what the answer was in that point, but regardless, there was a homeless, mentally unstable man out there throwing rocks and could have, hit me in the head while I was driving or hit my daughter and fucking killed her probably. Mm-hmm. Who knows?
I mean, you could definitely kill someone by hitting them in the head with a rock.
How could? Oh, she was like 3.
Yeah, I mean, you could do that to an adult. See if you hit them just right
and cause a hemorrhage. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know, man. What is the answer of like an individual like that? What could we have done to prevent him from being there, and what should we have done in that scenario to make sure it doesn't happen again?
I don't know if there's anything you do to prevent it, but you could definitely help him. If he's mentally ill, you should probably try to give him some, some type of therapy, maybe some medication.
What if he denied it? You think forcing somebody help would be a solution? Because ultimately they let him walk away back into the forest.
Well, that's the worst option of any option.
And I'm like, he could do this again, right? I didn't understand that. And I don't have all the answers. I just know that probably wasn't the solution.
Well, it comes to a point where...
By the way, that cost me $150 out of my pocket on top of that too, I had to get repaired.
Yeah, that sucks. I think it gets to a point where if someone's so mentally ill that there will be violence, I think we have a right to put them somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
think we have a duty to be honest.
It's, because it's a danger to society.
Yes.
I think if someone is mentally ill and they're not harming other people and they refuse, that's fine. What can you do there? You can't force someone that's not harming other people to do something. You know what I mean? This is like it's kind of inhumane. So
yeah.
But if they are a threat,
if they're a threat, yeah, absolutely.
And you don't have to give them medication, but you can put them in a psych ward, I guess.
Let's get to some of these real quick. So Jeff Bezos has almost $150 billion. that's so much money and profit, but I'm not against people making their own money. Yeah, absolutely. He can definitely help out with this.
Corporations could be taxed. Definitely. The
Yeah.
problem with this is the problem with America, okay? A little rants about this for a second, is we, as a country, by the laws that we do, not the actual individual people, but care more about corporations than we care about the people of the country.
Mm-hmm.
Just by the laws. You know, companies are always getting tax cuts and all this stuff, and then we're getting more taxes, cost of living's going up as individuals. And
yeah, it always continues. That's why this pandemic's even worse, because nothing stopped. Currency and taxes did not stop, but they want people to kick back in the house. That's the toughest part of this situation for COVID-19.
Mm-hmm. Deregulated hospitals for private profit in the 80s has led to this. There's no profit in housing mentally ill or during people. Okay, so I think we need to think as a society how we want to be as a people, as a civilization.
Instead of being so profit-driven.
Everything's about profit. Like,
profit-driven,
who
yeah.
fucking cares, man? You should care about people. We should have enough sympathy and, you know, passion and love towards our race to take care of the people of our race.
Yeah, that's a great mentality to have. That's definitely been lost. that mentality's been lost long time ago.
You don't have to be a hippie about it, but you shouldn't go to the other extreme, like, I don't give a fuck.
It's really just for the survival and the well-being of your own species. Mm-hmm. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, you want us to thrive in the best situations, right? Instead, we're competing now. We're enemies almost.
Yeah. So, just a quick note. If we go over 2 hours, which I think we started at like 9 or 7:02,
yeah,
it won't, I don't think they'll be able to watch it on Facebook is all. So.
Oh, we don't want to do that.
Yeah. Dude, I wasn't sure.
So that being the case, we got like 3 minutes. I do have another rant that I had from last episode I want to get on. And because it's really annoying me. It's about smokers and disrespectful smoking. That shit fucking bothers me. What I'm talking about is when I come out of a store from shopping and there's people standing in front and I get a whiff of their cigarettes. I can't fucking stand that shit. Why do you smoke in public? Why do you smoke around? Why do you force people to smell that nasty shit? Even smokers would agree it stinks and it's disgusting. Mm-hmm. So the disrespectful smoking, I'm so surprised that has not been rid of. We were walking down the Chehalis Trail where people jog. This is where people jog. This is a very nice trail. There's people smoking on this trail. Walking past us. I had to smell it, and I smelled it forever because it was a nice day. The wind was not blowing, so it was kind of just lingering forever.
How do you feel about if people were smoking weed on that trail?
It doesn't bother me as much, but it bothers me that they're disrespecting other people still. Same thing.
Yeah, see that? Okay.
Same thing.
I agree.
Disrespectful smoking is not thinking about other people.
I totally agree, about both. It's like if I hate breathing.
But weed doesn't bother me.
You know what I mean? I personally don't like it. I'm fine with people smoking weed. I don't give a fuck. But yeah, I totally agree.
And if it bothers you, it's just the smoking in public. You should ask somebody, hey, is it okay if I smoke, before just forcing them to smell it yourself. Yeah. And first of all, we know the secondhand smoke statistics, so let's not go there. Like, kids, doing it around kids is fucked up. And furthermore, women that are pregnant smoking, super fucked up. Yeah, if you're that chick that smokes while you're pregnant, fucking shame on you. All right? That's so fucked up, not giving that child a fighting chance right from the beginning. You're selfish and you're self-absorbed. I'm gonna tell you that right now. It's fucked up. Yeah. That shit pisses me off more than anything. So yeah.
Good rant.
Please keep your smoking to yourself. And let's address Roland real quick before we get out of here. Working in a casino, I quit smoking. I walked into secondhand smoke every day. Dude, that must have been tough too. And I see people with a cigarette that are ashes and burning their fingers, addicted to gambling. I've seen that shit, dude. Yeah. That's fucked up because they're just letting it burn and everybody else gets to smell that shit. Yeah, dude. I have a hard time being in that type of environment too, man. That's tough. Well, we're going to wrap it up so we don't get cut off on our platforms. This has been excellent podcast talking about all these things.
Yes. We are now on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, so make sure to follow us on those platforms. Those are the ones I really want to push. But we're also still on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch. So make sure to follow us and subscribe on our platforms.
Absolutely. We'll look into some more platforms, maybe iHeartRadio or something like that. We're trying to get out there, so keep an eye out and keep it viral.
Keep it contagious.
See you guys.